Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live on the Web3 Network. Excited to take you around the industry. We're going to do that hopefully in around an hour. A lot of things popping today, a lot of breaking news. A civil war happening over there on the Bitcoin protocol that we're going to touch on here shortly. I've got some really awesome guests here and co-hosts. Biggie Poppins, HUDAH, Gifted. Let's go around the quad box here to just get some intros. Biggie Poppins has a space here in about 15 to 20 minutes, so he's going to be with us for that amount of time. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited. Getting massive FOMO from the whole Art Basel thing. You know, it sounds like people are having tons of fun, and I feel like I'm missing like copious amounts of alpha, and that just does not sit well with me. So
I thought you were going to say alcohol.
Need to figure out a way, Q, next year maybe.
Oh, I'll be there. If 2024 goes well, start of it, let's make it happen. All right, HUDAH.
Party house.
What?
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah,
What's
good
up,
here,
dude?
man. Yeah, good. I mean, yes, Civil War brewing. I think you're talking about the Bitcoin stuff, right? That's wild to see, but it's also not new. That Civil War has been brewing, I mean, all year. And it's the same talking point, actually, as we saw in the beginning of the year from the same person. So nothing new. I don't know if anybody should be concerned, but it's super spicy and I love it. And hopefully we're chatting about it. And then, dude, like Biggie, man, it's just feeling like I'm missing out at all these conferences. You know, there's like everybody you want to be hanging out with is there. All the coolest stuff, maybe breaking news is happening there. And then while we're here sitting back at our computers doing our normal degen stuff, it's like the market just feels like it's muted and it's a little less fun without those guys here playing with us. So, it is what it is, but doing great on this side, guys. Good to be with you.
All right, super stoked to talk with the Bitcoin Ordinal stuff. I know we were discussing in Discord earlier this morning. Roger Dickerman was on the GM Web3 Morning Show going through the top 5 digital artists in the space right now. Basically, he does it on a 2-week basis, and it rolls consistently. So we always get to hear about new artists, some of the larger ones in the space too. He's at Art Basel, and he's saying Art Basel expectations versus reality here, and he gives 2 looks at the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area as well. Yeah, excited to hear what your thoughts were on GM Web3 GIF and your Art Basel FOMO as well, man.
I don't want to stew in it. It's so thick. The FOMO is so thick. Girthy. Sorry. Still waking up maybe a little bit. No, Roger Dickerman did what he does. He brings the alpha. He puts a lot of time into curating the top 5 artists this week. That's the name of the segment, Q, by the way. Top 5 artists this week. And he's been coming back bi-weekly, like you said, and kills it every single time. So I'm going to be working on a recap for that and share it out here in just a little bit so you can see what his picks were. But yes, a Miami edition. He came to us live. He took time out of his crazy schedule over there in Basel to bring us his top 5 artists this week. And it was awesome. As always, we appreciate you, Roger. And yes, I'm sure he's going to be having an amazing time.
All right, G to the M, Easy in Crypto, and the rest of you folks out there watching on X, watching on YouTube, either live or afterwards. We appreciate y'all. If you're on Twitch as well, we have a following over there as well. So you guys are awesome. OVOT, we're going to get this episode started off right. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a little bit of a shit show episode. The last 48 hours, I've had to reacclimate myself to how a degen acts, feels, acts without sleep, maybe 2 or 3 less hours than I usually get. I don't know how I'm going to survive the bull run, but it's fun times, man. The energy is back. I feel like I got to be checking charts a little bit more. So we'll touch on that in just a moment, but I wanted to put that disclaimer out for y'all. This episode might be a little off the rails here. So Gifted, hit him with the don't speckle while I share out the episode. If you guys could do your best here, I'm going to drop the link in the chat as well. If you guys can, like, repost or comment on this X post, that would be awesome.
Also smash that like while you're at it, fam. Yeah, look, anytime you're just throwing thousands of dollars at whatever random shitcoin gets shilled to you in a Telegram, you're probably going to need to check that chart a little bit more. So that's fair. And you know what? That may or may not be what is being done right now behind the scenes. But look, this is why it's especially important to always remind everybody we're not financial advisors. I know, again, you see this and you think, smart person probably has some financial wisdom that I should be taking. but you'd be incorrect about that. I know it's confusing. You look at this and you think probably a banker, probably an analyst that I should go and stake my entire net worth on what they say. But no, just remember, we're not financial advisors yet. And so nothing that we talk about on any of our shows should ever be misconstrued as financial advice. You got to do your own research as always, and do not speckle. Thank you.
All right, I want to get into the stories because, again, we only have Biggie Poppins here for another 15 minutes. This is the reason, by the way. Let's show this off while we're still on the local news segment. Dead Birds Society, Command A. We're having a Spaces over there here in just a moment, so Biggie's got to prep. What are we doing on that Spaces today, Biggie, and how has that experience been? Let's keep it short, though.
It's been fun. Today particularly is going to be pretty chill, loosey-goosey, since everybody's in holiday spirits or Basel. So we're going to be talking AI tools and, just talking about the new prompt, the Eternal Light, for this last month. This is the last prompt for this year. But other than that, it's been great, man. We've been getting to hang with some really cool artists. We've had Clown Vamp, we've had Dr. Manhattan, and Red Rum, which has been really cool, like, and elucidating, just seeing what their process is and creating these AI pieces that, you'd think you just sit in front of Runway or whatever, and you just type a couple of sentences and boom, out comes this masterpiece. Not the case. It takes them about a month to 2 months sometimes just to get the prompt right. So you can noodle on that, but it is an art form. I'm so convinced that it's an art form. People want to, like Claire Silver, that she calls it a cooperation or collaboration. That's fair, but I think it is most definitely an art form, one that we should be paying attention to, especially after today's Web3 show, where we got Roger Dickerman also highlight AI art and its inevitability. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome, man. All right, well, we're going to be over there right after this show. Let me give you a quick rundown before we get started here. I've got some quick news. Coinbase had a pretty cool update. I don't know if you guys caught it, to their interface where you're able to kind of send tokens and send crypto via messages within certain apps. Claynosaurus just hit a new all-time high. A bit of Sandbox news. This is tickling my fancy real quick. Oni Force. And then we're going to go into the larger meat of the episode with Bitcoin Ordinals Wars. I do want to hit on which artists Roger Dickerman tabbed as top 5. I've got Yuga Labs. I've got Portal. I've got Inspect Token. We can just go around the gamut. Look, we're not going to dive deep into what we did last night, Gift Dead, but it was very, very degen heavy. These are Bitcoin Ordinal or Bitcoin Ordinals Telegram bots that eventually will allow you to bridge assets to the Bitcoin protocol, but you're buying them on Ethereum via Uniswap. Did I do any research on the team? Zero. Did I look into what the product does at all before buying? No. These are all things that tell me, hey, I'm feeling a little bit of energy. I'm feeling like I want to jump back in. I don't know if you have any experiences you want to share here on OrdiBot and Bypass, the two tokens.
Oh, you mean my experience of waking up this morning to see what I threw in there on your suggestion already worth a third of what I put into it? You mean that experience? Or...
Guys, this is why people look at you too, and instantly you got to do that disclaimer because they're like financial advisors.
Don't be like us. Is the point of this segment right here?
Here's the thing, okay? And I knew this was gonna come up. I knew, like, I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, Gift is gonna send me a text, and I almost sent a text to Mike Finch about this. But listen, this is my third cycle now, and Gift Ed, you will learn this. You cannot do both. You cannot have, if you're not going to just praise me at every moment for the absolute rockets that you've bought off these calls, then you can't then go to me in my text and be like, hey man, what the hell did I just get into an hour after you got into it? Okay, so we're gonna ride this out.
I'm having fun with it. Look, I know, dude, trust me, I have degened enough to know that if I'm throwing anything around, at the end of the day, it's my accountability. So I'll rib you sometimes on a bad call, but I know
not a bad call. yet.
The buck stops with me, right? So it's like I already know if something goes south because of my own degen behavior, that's on me. But you can't lament when I have fun giving you a hard time sometimes about it. But no, look, I mean, we've all had a lot of good calls. We've also all had a lot of bad calls. They even out roughly.
Hopefully they don't even out. If they don't even out, you're actually doing okay. If you just go even, it's going to be tough for you to make it here in the market. But
this is a great call. Yeah. These are up to what, 0.3 now?
Oh yes, the shrapnel dolls.
Yeah, these are taking off. The shrapnel operators
continues to call them dolls.
Yeah, what the fuck, bro? Dude,
shrapnel's running, Valeria's running, shrapnel operators are running.
Wait.
Can we talk about this?
Nothing makes me want to floor it and get the fuck out and like sell these things more than Biggie calling them dolls.
These are mean figurines. Yeah, that one's tough. All right, if you follow us into any of those, again, not financial advice, but you're doing pretty well. Shout out to Marty McFly, by the way, who did end up finally capitulating and buying
into something. Damn,
the toys.
He got the dolls.
Imagine if Marty had left our Telegram chat and never come back.
He sold a squig to buy dolls. Damn. We'll see how that turns out.
We will. So again, we were up late degening. There are plays everywhere. I think a really good tie-in, and we can just like head straight into it, is, and I'll show you one of the charts, by the way, to kind of give you some context. So ORDIBot, this is we're not going to go into the product. Okay, we're not going to. It's a Telegram bot, ridiculous play. Don't even try to touch it. Okay, but you can see here, me and GiftDead here talking in real time. Okay, this is like a 15-minute chart. It's
where
me.
I bought.
I'm buying around here. It's starting to go up very quickly. I mean, like almost 2xing within the course of like 15 minutes. And I'm like, holy shit, GiftDead. I think I might have something here. We're having the conversation. We're on Uniswap. We're here. And okay, we're buying right about here. We slam the buy button on ORDIBot and bypass, and then literally not
exit liquidity.
Like right then, this Bitcoin developer said, "Hey, Bitcoin Ordinals are a scam and they're going to be destroyed in 2024." And then it's just a and you can see that on bypass as well a little bit more. Okay, me and Gifted are buying, and Bitcoin Ordinals are a fucking scam. And these this is the red candle that you received. So that was a little bit of our night. It's a little bit stressful. So again, let's transition this to why that is happening. This is a tweet from Luke. And I want to make sure I get his name right, folks. Luke Dasher, Dash Jr.
Nobody knows.
Look, Luke, a Bitcoin developer here, a Roman Catholic, by the way, husband, father of 8 children, and core developer. That does sound like a Bitcoin maxi. PSA inscriptions are exploiting a vulnerability in Bitcoin Core to spam the blockchain. Bitcoin Core has since 2013 allowed users to set a limit on the size of extra data in transactions they relay or mine. By obfuscating their data as program code, inscriptions bypass this limit. This bug was recently fixed in Bitcoin NOTS version 25.1. It took longer than usual due to my workflow being severely disrupted at the end of last year. Bitcoin Core is still vulnerable in the upcoming V26 release. I can only hope it will finally get fixed before V27 of next year. So what this means, TLDR, and I know, Huda, you've been on top of this one, and I would love to get your take here first. But essentially what this means is this dev wants ordinals to go away and leave the Bitcoin protocol.
God, this man hates them. He hates ordinals. He hates inscriptions. He hates how they're being taken advantage of. And he calls all of that stuff spam. In a way, he's not wrong. But also, who is he to say what can and can't happen on the Bitcoin blockchain? It goes against the whole ethos of decentralization. So I personally think the guy's a clown here. But also, this isn't new. And we were talking just before here, like this same narrative from the same person bubbled up throughout the year. Earlier in the year when inscriptions, ordinals, whatever, were just kicking off, we heard the same thing from him. And there was fear that they would, same thing, that they would find a way to like patch them out through updates. It didn't happen. It may never happen, or this could lead to a fork. I mean, that is a real possibility people need to consider too. This, the fact that it hasn't gone away is something to maybe to urge a little caution, I guess, because of it.
I want to bring in Udi's post here. So Udi, I believe, is the founder of Taproot Wizards. He's at least leading them up at the current time, and he's obviously a very, very big figure over there in the Bitcoin ecosystem. He was saying, I was asked by the block for my thoughts on Cat Eater, Luke's obsession with ordinals. Here they are. And he basically goes on to say, Luke does not control the chain. He's been raging, just like HUDAH mentioned here, he's been raging about ordinals inscription since February and was unable to stop them. We expect the coping and seeding to continue as ordinals further strengthen their position as the main use case on the Bitcoin chain. So it stoked a little bit, or stopped a little bit, of the raging FUD fire that was existing. Even some of the larger collections like Bitcoin Frogs went down, I believe, 20 or 30% off of this news. So the market was reacting very violently. Biggie Poppins GIF, what's up? Tell me your thoughts.
I think your take on like selective decentralization is kind of interesting. This idea that like decentralization is good when we say it is, but then when we want to control things back the way how we believe they should be, then centralization good. I think that's an interesting take. I also think HUDAH's point of like, it's kind of like this. We've just been hearing the same thing from this one dude who's just like angry at it. But that to me doesn't like clear up. Like, I think the question is really like, does this actually have potential of being updated in this way that he's asking for, and give the implications then of like a lot of this shit disappearing or the market being irrevocably changed in maybe a negative way for holders? I don't know that that's clear, right? Like I'm not clear, and I think we're still learning about it.
How's that going to happen when all this new transaction volume happening on the Bitcoin ecosystem is benefiting the miners, right? Like, how are you going to get them to go along with this? And at the same time, it's unlocking a lot of liquidity and at least a substantial amount, I think, of people that own Bitcoin would like to see these communities and projects spring up. And it's understandable that the technology has its limitations, right? That's why I think an argument for an L2 on Bitcoin is valid, right? Whereas, when we hear people poo-poo it over on Ethereum, that's valid as well, right? Because there is that argument that if you're going to have a protocol, smart contract protocol there, it should be contained within just that. And it's only a temporary fix, right? These roll-ups and these other L2s that are coming up right now. But I think for Bitcoin, what it really, I've met a couple of these maxis before, and it's unbelievable how, how unaccepting they are of any other discussion. Even like they don't even want to have a discussion. They don't think it warrants it. And to me, that just goes against the ethos of this entire space. Even Bitcoin itself was created for that reason, right? Like, we're supposed to be problem solvers. And I think in this particular case, yes, there are some issues that can be addressed and improved upon in this ecosystem, but to just completely dismiss it based on like it's a bug, not a feature, a slow, clunky network, I don't know. It's
interesting
whatsoever.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say it that way, because the definition of a fascist is a follower of a political philosophy characterized by authoritarian views and a strong central government. Basically, no tolerance for opposing opinions. And what you get with a lot of these maxis is they are basically the fascists of blockchain, that's counterintuitive. Like, that's a paradox, because that's what Biggie's saying, right? Like, the ethos of this technology is decentralization, but you're acting like authoritarian fascists on how like you want to control and centralize the authority of what this is supposed to be doing for people. And that's a crazy thing, actually.
Yeah, I think so. The term I continue to go back to with this is cognitive dissonance. When they say, "Hey, we want to be decentralized in some ways, and then we don't in other ways. We want to be innovative in some ways, and then completely shit on other innovation in another way." We just brought up Tur's post the other day. Tur's another Bitcoin maxi that was just completely shitting on the idea of even NFTs on Ethereum, like not on Bitcoin. He was just like overall just could not. He was being NIMBY. He was being a NIMBY, shouting from his house over there a block away, saying, "What are they doing over there? You see how they're being stupid?" And it's just, it makes no sense. It doesn't affect him at all.
Platforms, what? That's not innovation. Are you fucking kidding me, man?
Yeah. I'm interested in the governance piece here. We've seen this more so with ApeCoin, I think, locally, where they've been a large ecosystem, quote unquote, large DAO ecosystem that has had to go through this, where who's making the decisions, who can push things through, can certain individuals kind of get something through, even though the masses clearly want something different. Do you guys know anything about whether this can be updated, even though the community maybe is pushing back?
Yeah, I think it absolutely can. But I don't know the process for it. I don't know if that goes ultimately to a vote, but it absolutely can. And like I mentioned before, if there's enough, I guess, if there's enough support on both sides, it absolutely can lead to a fork, which every upgrade, I believe, is a fork. It's a difference between a soft fork and a hard fork. But either way, the fork happens at each upgrade. And so, again, if there's enough backers at Ordinals and they just say, you know, we're going wherever the Ordinals go, you got a hard fork there, and that is a real possibility.
But I think we're definitely at that juncture, right, Huda, where this civil war, this discussion needs to be had fully, and we need to end it, you know, henceforth. Like, it cannot be something that keeps popping up continuously, because I do think, like, I think maxis think that they are the majority, and I personally think that they are wrong, and they are fucking scared that they're gonna wake the sleeping giant, which is a whole bunch of people that hold Bitcoin, that want to see what's happened in Ether happen in Bitcoin, right? Mm-hmm. You know, communities spring out, projects, art, what have you, right? And it's crazy because in the end, it'll benefit the ecosystem, like that post that you were putting there from On-Chain Monkeys. It's just true, and I've yet to hear a maxis eloquent rebuttal to something like that, right? Other than it clogs up the network, as if like, okay, well, fine, but what about all these different solutions that are being worked on? Like, they shouldn't be pursued. You should just leave it as is. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm sorry, like Bitcoin's you know, value proposition, as much as people want to compare it to just digital gold, is so much more than that, right? You know, and I think you can see it right now, like in just its ability to store, like what do you call it, like sensitive documents, right? Like that we've talked about before, right? Like that will not be able to be taken down. Like that's powerful, man. That's invaluable in my opinion. Like, you can't put a price on that. And to say like, hey, well, what about art storing it's the ultimate hard drive, you know, decentralized hard drive. And it's bonkers to me that they just want to keep it as boring digital gold.
That's
like,
it.
Fine, but
yeah,
I think we want more. The majority wants more, and
they do. They really do. You're totally right, Biggie. I want to make one last point on it too, and it's not really about that conversation. It's about how early we really are and how quickly things can change and how different things can look in just a year. Like, we don't know how this is going to play out, and what happens if they do that update and ordinals are gone, all that money behind them gone. It just evaporates. And it's kind of similar like on Solana. What happens when the validators go down? All this bullish sentiment that's been behind Solana, that disappears too. So it's just what we feel is normal right now, and that we're so bullish on and so willing to throw so much money behind. It could not exist in a year. We don't know.
I mean, I guess if you're looking for silver linings in that worst case scenario of this going through and like Bitcoin, you know, ordinals basically disappearing, probably going to be pretty bullish for Ethereum and Solana and maybe Tezos and some other chains that do allow, you know, smart contracts and NFTs and all that type of stuff. But I liked Roger Dickerman's nuanced take, which is kind of the take that I've always resonated with, which is that I think it makes sense for certain things, for provenance, for high-end valuable things or important documents, things like this, but it's not really meant for everything or shouldn't be applied to everything. And I think that's the challenge really, is that, you know, people right now are just throwing up a whole bunch of junk, and that does clog up the network. And that's hard, because again, where do you draw the line and say like, oh no, this isn't worthy of being on the blockchain? It's like, well, no, if you want to pay for that space,
that's it, and it's worthy.
If they're talking about you, you're doing something right. And to some extent, this is showing that they're actually doing something that's innovative that somebody's going to be pushing it back against. So that's definitely where I'm leaning.
Well, you can see the volume says there's product market fit. Like, you can just look at the numbers, and the reason why they're talking about it is actually because there's product market fit. And so what are they doing right? It's like, dude, people are fucking with it. Like, people like it. People want it. They're trading it, you know?
A ton of money over there. I mean, the thesis that there's just money sitting over there and has been for a long time is pretty standard. Like, if you just wanted to go over there and have that as your single thesis, I think you'd be right. Like, there's literally so much money that's just sitting there in Bitcoin that people probably want to spend. Biggie Poppins, I know you have to run here for Command A in your space that's happening over on X. I'll drop the link here after we get done with this episode. And to let us know any last thoughts that you have on today or anything like that, man, before you get out of here.
How I feel, you know. Anyways, but I'll take this opportunity to say goodbye. I love you, fam. OVOT, and I'll see you tomorrow. Keep it up. All right. Let's see if I can get these. Woo. Peace out.
See you, Biggie.
That's absolutely the best exit on this stage, dude. This is the last day that I deal with lighting issues, guys. This is absolutely ridiculous. I'm just over here clicking my light on and off. We do have a ton of comments here in chat that we can get to. If you see any that you would like to highlight, guys, please do throughout the episode here. Easy and Crypto came in first. OVOT. Looks like Cats Fanatic, DP, Felipe saying, here comes gift breaking my heart with that financial advice warning. I look and think probably a couch expert. Hey, you might have hit the nail on the head there. Quantum Variant saying Bitcoin should not be changed. That is the law. Jeff Jag saying decentralization means not in control. You share the upsides and the downsides. And then lastly, Quantum is saying who draws the line? If they can draw the line, then it's centralized and might as well be USDC. So, guys, any last takes here before we move on?
Nah, man. Let's move on.
All right. So I don't want to get down a political rabbit hole, but I haven't even looked at this. I think there might be some interesting parallels here. This is from Degen News. Breaking: JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says he would close down crypto if he were the government. So this is from a hearing that's happening today. We are not going to go down an Alex Jones rabbit hole, but I have not heard this yet, so I want to listen.
Always been
wow.
To crypto, Bitcoin, etc. You pointed out the only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance. And that is a use case because it is somewhat anonymous, not fully, and because you can move money instantaneously, and because it doesn't go through, as you mentioned, all these systems have been built up over many years. Know your customers, sanctions, OFAC. They can get bypass all of that. If I was the government, I'd close it down.
I will not be pulled into this conversation. I'm sorry I even did that to you guys. HUDAH, Gifted.
These fucking boomers, man. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's kind of like the Bitcoin conversation.
Yep.
It's something we've heard before. It doesn't matter. You can't shut it down. You can't shut something down that's decentralized. They don't get it.
It makes me sick.
It does. If you think about it too long, it makes you sick.
Because literally what he just said there is actually, like, what he outlined is exactly the thesis and value for it. It's that you've got this entrenched, broken system that doesn't work for everybody. It's actually a nightmare because you have to go through a million different steps just to use your money and access your money and do with it what you want. You have to literally get approval from a million different operators through this bureaucratic system where they're taking chunks out of you every step along the way just to transact. That's not freedom. That's not money. Your system sucks,
well,
dude.
They set that system up.
Exactly, but like he outlined why everybody's so eager to use anything else, bro, and said this is the reason why no other options should exist, because our system that we've created, all these levers that we get to pull, should be the only system.
Okay, I'm going to move us on. Coinbase could potentially be, if they do this right, Coinbase could be one of the most like pivotal companies to ever grace the United States. Like the way that they're fighting back in their messaging with their trailers and commercials, and the way that they're reaching out to millennials who know exactly what you just laid out, GIF, which is that the system is fucking broken. I'll be interested to see Coinbase's moves here. And look, I'll touch this last piece here, which is that Coinbase had an update yesterday. This is pretty cool. Sending money has never been easier. Now you can send USDC in just a few taps across borders without fees. And I believe this is within their app. In other specific apps, you basically can send it within like a DM. So like if you're in a group message with somebody, you can use that to send them $10. I can probably show off a brief experiment or a explainer here, but any takes here?
This is how you onboard your friends and your family, right? You send them money instead of using these other cash apps and Venmo and whatever, right? You send them money this way, they sign up for the app, and boom, they're at least in this ecosystem. I think there's something to that.
That's kind of clever. I like that. I was just gonna try and pull up a real quick palate cleanser after that horrible fucking video.
Yeah. Let's finish off on this real quick and just show the actual video from this Coinbase wallet. So you have the text, copy and pay. You can, I guess, use WhatsApp and just go within the messaging system and send crypto that way. So I don't know the specific details around this, but making it super easy for people to send and receive crypto.
Yeah, amazing.
I do actually like HUDAH's take on like, dude, just start using this for all of your day-to-day things with like friends and family and like whoever, like instead of using Venmo or like anything else. And you're going to be onboarding people because they're going to want to get that money somehow. They're going to have to download the app. They're going to have to start using crypto.
I mean,
that's actually
that's
a Trojan horse, right? That's a Trojan horse.
Dude, it totally is. Like, so Coinbase does have staking, right? Because you can plant that seed too. Like, just put it there, but also stake it, earn a little something. There's so many ways you can really get people touching crypto for the first time. It's brilliant.
It's interesting because in the East you have like the all-in-one apps where you can do all of this messaging, sending crypto, all that stuff already. We're just kind of catching up and we're seeing this integration in real time of disjointed systems. All right, GIF, let's show off what you got here. I believe from CNBC. What's up?
Yeah, and I'm just trying to pull up a friendlier video from, the TradFi people who are actually getting it and not just trying to like control everybody all the time and kill this fucking innovation. But I did also want to shout out Quantum Variant, Jeff Jag, DP getting wild over here in the chat and making some great takes. Quantum saying 70% of Robinhood users own crypto. Coinbase is the new Chase Bank. Let's fucking put that everywhere. Make some shirts. Fucking make some posters. Coinbase is the new Chase Bank. I love that. Jeff Jag saying, are you saying Jamie Dimon is a fiat maxi? No, couldn't see that. But anyway, all right, let's play this real quick. It's a 1-minute clip from CNBC, and it's interesting. See what y'all think of it here.
Question about the halving. I've heard it called the halvening or the halving, but either one. We're getting to that in April, I think, right? And that's been a bullish thing before. I sort of wonder, is it the same thing though? Is that already getting priced in, or is there something technical that actually happens that would make it be priced in closer to the event?
So so what we've seen historically is that the 12 to 16 months after a halving is the best performance of Bitcoin. So that's what everybody's thinking about. This time might be different because the price of Bitcoin's higher. We now only have, I think it's 900 Bitcoin a day that come out, so that gets cut in half. It's not a lot of Bitcoin, but what it does do is it makes Bitcoin more scarce than gold. So for the first time in history, you have an asset that is more scarce than gold.
In what way more scarce?
Let's call it a stock to flow ratio. So the amount of Bitcoin mined every year divided by the amount outstanding, same with gold. And now there'll be, quote unquote, less Bitcoin than gold mined on a relative basis.
In what way scarce? The definition of scarcity, there's more gold in existence and will be than Bitcoin. Like what?
Yeah, well, he's looking at it in terms of how much is being created each year relative to the total amount, right? Because up until now, the amount of Bitcoin generated was proportionally more than the amount of gold that was mined each year. And so what he's saying now is that those ratios have inverted, and the amount of Bitcoin proportionally that's being created each year is going down, and the amount of gold is about the same or whatever, right? So it's like you're now mining less Bitcoin each year than you are gold, and you're actually increasing the supply of gold faster than you are Bitcoin.
All right, last trailer I promise on this subject, and I do want to get to this Ronin news here, HUDAH. So I'd love for you to check on that as well as your update. I love Gabriel Haynes. Let's give him a shout out.
He's back. Wow.
You sick son of a bitch! You know very well the use cases of cryptocurrency. In fact, your own company has been shilling it to their goddamn investors for years, you sick fuck! Now all of a sudden you want to shut it down? Well, guess what? I want to shut you the fuck down!
Good Lord.
Okay.
Dude, I love that man.
Oh man.
You know what? His last video or two I weren't as good in my opinion. He's back.
Okay. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. This time
we are
different.
so fucking back.
All right. Okay, HUDAH, some really big news. GIF has been on the Ronin train here for the last week or two, and he's been calling like this token I think is going to do extremely well, and he's been calling that. There might be a better reason now to even focus more in on Ronin and that whole ecosystem. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, there's just all these rumors of more games coming over to Ronin. In fact, their head of biz dev, and that's not actually her title, but Kathleen Osgood has been hinting that she's talking with founders and has been here for months, right? And they're going to shock people when we hear who they are. So maybe earlier in the week, we saw Kagi Jan putting out there that Treeverse, he's hearing Treeverse is coming over. Today, he said that what you had up right there, I think, he's hearing that Sandbox is coming over. In fact, even deeper than that, he saw the Sand token on the Ronin testnet. Okay, that is super spicy. I've also been hearing rumblings about this for months now behind the scenes. So this isn't surprising to me. I didn't think it would actually happen. So this gives me a little confidence that what I was hearing was maybe right, and could be a really good fit. And that would be a huge shakeup, I think.
I'd love to get Finn on NFT Live because we had him for a moment over there. He runs the socials for Sky Mavis, the team behind Axie Infinity, behind the Ronin blockchain. Love to talk with him about that ecosystem because he was mentioning Zoids. You're mentioning two others here, Sandbox, which would be absolutely gigantic. A piece that you didn't hit on there, which I kind of vibed with and we've been talking about, is teams maybe wanting to get away from Polygon. And this has kind of been a thing for Polygon with Utes leaving. They can't seem to nail down one specific sector that they want to really attack hard. At first, it was gaming. They were trying to do it with Utes coming over with PFPs. What is sticking over there in the Polygon ecosystem? It might even benefit like an Avagachi. I mean, it's sad. It sucks to say, but maybe a lot of the reasons Avagachi hasn't hit is because they're on Polygon.
I can tell you I've heard Avagachi stuff too, and I know they're building their own chain now, so, you know, I don't know if that can happen, but I know for sure in that same conversation about Sandbox, I heard their name as far as people were asking and they were gauging and that kind of stuff, right? But there's something up. I mean, it's just like Disney going, you know, I know it's not officially a Disney project, but the pins, why aren't those on Polygon where Polygon's in their incubator program? Again, yeah, there's just this exodus of projects leaving Polygon, and I don't know why. Maybe I have some hunches, but I'm not sure exactly. But there's just this trend now.
Dude, the experience of bridging is not good.
Yes,
it's just not good. The user experience is not good. That's what it is, and that's what I've had to come realize. And unless they're able to streamline it and make it a better fucking experience, you know, I don't know what they do, right? Because that's a product problem. Like it's the reason, like they've invested a ton in getting good projects and trying to get artists and brands over there. But it seems like the only things that have really stuck there have been like custom built brand platforms like .swoosh and like Starbucks Odyssey, maybe like Reddit avatars as another example of that. Those seem to do okay there. But anything else that relies upon like just the existing sort of like native applications and dApps it's trash.
That's
it's not good.
That's it. It's instantly difficult when you buy something and then you need Matic right away, and you can't just buy Matic. You got to buy it somewhere else and send it. It's so difficult to just get started.
Bad.
It's really, really tricky. And that is a huge hurdle.
All right. So again, the kind of seeds that we're hearing or a little bit of the info is that potentially Sandbox, which is a very large NFT project. I mean, they're in the top 100 or near there. They've been a darling before. Axie Infinity itself has been a darling before. So Ronin has a lot going for it. I'm going to show off the chart here. $1.49. It is up pretty heavily here over the last
it's like
130,
like 130% up on the month or something like that.
Not that much on the year. That is really strong. Although if you look at the max chart here, you can see that it was touching at the beginning of 2022, which is like the end of the last bull, start of the bear market. Was touching $4. Let's go to a year.
Kaggy's predicting $10 on this one. NFA, do your own research, but it probably has quite a ways that it can still go from here.
That company and ecosystem has a cartel on it too, man. Like they got some, and I say cartel in the nicest way possible. Like I'm not saying it in a negative fashion. I'm like they got some MFers that have some money that know how this space moves, and they know how to deploy it, and they know how to get shit to rock it.
Yeah, cartel in Web3 is not necessarily a bad thing, right? You might want to be on their team every once in a while. The one thing that I wanted to throw in here that's interesting to me is that, I've been saying for a long time that most blockchains, if they're going to actually survive and thrive, should specialize a little bit. And Ronin seems to be very specialized in gaming and like just building out game ecosystems. Polygon seems to have kind of done that wrong. They seem to have struggled. They tried to go into PFPs and NFTs and invest there with DeGods and Utes. Now they're trying to do art through, Magic Eden, Polygon art, and they've got the brand plays. And it seems like they're still trying to like kind of be a little bit of everything to everyone. And I don't know that they fully specialize. And I think that they're starting to lose their opportunity. Like I think they should have gone way fucking harder in one lane, because now you're starting to see people are moving where they think that they're going to get those economies of scale and those specialties.
HUDAH, I would love to have the Polygon discussion on what you've been seeing on Crypto Slam too. I think we do that here in just a moment.
Sure.
Any last thoughts here on Ronin? I did have an Axie Infinity chart as well. This might be, again, we've been doing a lot of NFAs up here. This is definitely NFA. But Axie was absolutely a darling of the last cycle. It was one of the best performers of the last cycle, going from $1, less than $1, almost. There's 10 cents on this chart to $138. So that's a full ass unicorn, 100xer plus. And can that happen again? This is one that hasn't moved really. I mean, you look at the last, where Ronin has done a 150% or 300% on the year, but 100 in the last couple months, Axie Infinity hasn't moved. And what I've heard is that HUDAH, I don't know if you were the one telling me this or who was it that was telling me this. Basically, that the people that are getting into the Ronin ecosystem, the CyberKongs, the maybe Sandbox users, are then getting funneled into playing the original Axie Classic.
Yeah, I see tweets from them, and so I can at least speak for the CyberKongs community. But once they migrated over there, they started touching Axie just because, right? Now they're brothers, and they want to just see what that fuss was about, because they can feel there's collaborations coming. Like, holy shit, this game is really fun! Like, I can't believe I never got to play this before. So there is definitely an effect there, and so I'm expecting at some point Axie to have its time in the spotlight again, and they deserve that. I would love to see it.
Yeah, the one thing, like, I agree. And the one other thing that I'm like sitting here thinking about anecdotally is about Aavegotchi, because we know and love Aavegotchi. I'm holding several gotchis, and we know how powerful that team is. The community's super strong, and the devs are like next level. Like, they just keep churning out new products. They're all over the place. They're at every conference. It's a really fucking robust ecosystem and game and community. Yet you look at that and you're like, why haven't they really popped off or gotten the kind of love that they really deserve within Web3 with all the things that they're doing? And you have to start to think like, it's probably largely because they're on fucking Polygon, man. And a lot of people just don't want to go over there. They don't spend time. They don't want to bridge. They don't want to dig into another fucking chain that they don't understand. Like, why am I here? And it's not a good experience. So I'm starting to feel that way more and more, man, that like, you know, Gotchi might be one of those that like could do better by moving to Ron or one of these other ecosystems where they might get more appreciated or more loved, where there's more users to discover all the cool shit that they're fucking building. And that sucks to say. I'm just trying to keep it real, man.
Here's a good question that I would like to pose to both of you and the chat. If you were Abagachi and you were, you know, wave a magic wand, you can move him. Where would you move him? Would you move him to ETH? Would you move him to Solana? Are you moving to Ronin? Was there another one that we're not talking about?
I'm going to say Ronin for any game at this point.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Portal coin. I mean, you laugh, but it's a thing. Blast.
Well, there is some big news there on the Portal front, right? Worth throwing in here that I put into the dash, but it's just that they did announce one of their first advisory board members is the co-founder of Rockstar Games, and that's not a joke. Like if that's real,
yeah,
this guy Jamie, whatever. Like
Jonah has a lot of things to say on this, and he said it right before.
Jonah has a lot of things to say about everything.
True,
so
it's true. But he brought in the actual receipts here. Stop using Rockstar Games to pump tokens. Let's see. King left Rockstar Games in 2006 following disagreement. I think what he's kind of getting at here is that he's not coming from Rockstar Games. But if he co-founded Rockstar Games, that's still a thing.
Still a thing.
Yeah, disagreement over the future direction of the Grand Theft Auto series and several other Rockstar titles. Yeah, there's a big hubbub going around with Jonah saying multiple things here on this announcement. But yeah, we can still show it off. Shit.
The thing that's difficult with Jonah is that, like, yes, he's one of the most educated and insightful people on Web3 gaming, but also like he's very conflicted. And that what I mean is like that guy's trying to be Web3 gaming. Like he wants it to be about him. He's trying to watch all the businesses and run all the business of Web3 gaming. And so like it's hard to know where, like, how much of his comments are because he's trying to do something similar or has other interests in other businesses, etc. Like he's very much invested, and that's why there's a conflict of interest with a lot of things that he says. And look, as much as I think Jonah's going to do the right thing when he has clear sponsorship, like I don't think he's going to go out and pump and dump things without saying like, yo, I'm sponsored by so-and-so. Like, I don't think he's like that level of shady. I don't think he's a shady influencer like that. But is he on every tweet that he's going to be saying, like outlining all of his possible relationships to like other companies and brands, etc.? No, he's not going to do that. Just like most of us aren't doing that. And so I just want to throw that out there. He has his own initiatives. Absolutely. He's got multiple businesses in the space that are all doing big things. Respect for that. But just also understand that he's not going to be shy about shitting on anybody else that he thinks is like a threat or doing something he doesn't think is as good as what he's doing.
So here's the announcement from Portal Coin. Rockstar Games co-founder Jamie King joins the Portal advisory board of Titan Gaming. He will help strategically drive Portal to mass adoption. I can also bring up his latest, what he was doing essentially for the last 5 years. But HUDAH, thoughts on Portal Game and this co-founder Rockstar?
Well, I love it, and this reminds me a lot of what is it? Not ApeCoin, but Yuga Labs bringing in these gaming like juggernauts. These guys from Epic Games and from who else? They got Epic Games, whatever. You get the idea. You got these guys in the gaming world who are interested in NFTs and in Web3. You are. So the writing is on the wall that, you know, at some point those merge. Maybe those guys are like on this mission to help like lay the framework, right? And at some point, they're helping prep it for when it does integrate in most of these big AAA games. I just feel like there's something like that going on here. I like the move. I like that announcement.
Do you like Portal more now that the dust has settled?
Instantly.
Okay.
Instantly. I wasn't touching it. I have not farmed any of it. And just seeing a name attached to it, yes, that gets somebody like me.
All right. I'm going to quickly transition. Actually, you know what, HUDAH? Let's get into some of your analytics here and some of what you're seeing on the Crypto Slam website, as well as just what you've been putting together for the morning. I'm going to let Shia LaBeouf intro you.
Do it! Just do it!
Okay. All right, dude. Let's do it.
Oh my God, killing me, man.
Let's freaking do it.
That's so good. That's so good. All right, where do I want to start even for you? So I put my screen up here. Feel free to share that if you'd like.
Gotcha.
And because we were talking Polygon, in the meantime, I was looking up some interesting Polygon stuff here. But let's start with the FORKAST 500, which this is showing the value of the NFT market. It's like the S&P 500, how that measures the stock market and the performance. So you can see here we're up 1.3% on the day, which is pretty darn fantastic. I like to zoom out. Weekly view shows we're up almost 10%, which is just, guys, I like, if you haven't been looking at this, you don't know how great that really is. That is a very, very big number to see us up, and we don't see that often at all, except for in this run here. Okay, I'm not going there yet because I do want to show that at the end. That's the Polygon stuff. But yesterday, looking at yesterday's numbers, this is cross-chain NFT sales, finished with 45 million in cross-chain sales. Unique sellers, unique buyers, transactions, all trending down a little. That's because everybody's off in Miami and partying and kind of taking a little break from trading, like we talked about earlier. We're here. We feel that things throttle back when the guys are all out having fun. That said, these numbers still smash what we were seeing, you know, about 2 months ago. So I'm happy with how this looks here. Polygon, though. Polygon, guys. Oh, man.
What is happening with Polygon? Are they just tanking?
They just don't have a lot going for them right now. I mean, here's the thing. Gas Hero's looking fantastic, and that's a new game that's coming from the Step-In team. But before, the only thing that was keeping Polygon relevant, and by relevant, I mean in the top 5 in the blockchain rankings, it was keeping them around 3 or so. Well, that was when DraftKings was absolutely rocking and doing millions in sales a week. That has certainly throttled back. And without them and without Gas Heroes here that's carrying really a bulk of the load,
wow,
I don't know where they'd be, man. I think they'd be, you know, ranked number 6, maybe number 7. It's a bummer to see, but it's like, what else do they have at this point? Can you name any Polygon project that either a PFP or somewhere you'd be putting your time and your money into? Trump Cards is number 4, and that's it. You know what I mean?
I wasn't DraftKings carrying them for a long time, and then I when you first brought up the chart, I thought this was like the overall. This is just Polygon, but DraftKings.
I mean, DraftKings is right here. They were doing 1 million, 2, 3 a week. They're down to about 250,000 here. Well, that's on the day at least. We can peak for the week. But they're not carrying the blockchain the way they were before. Before they were, I would say, probably 95% of the blockchain sales. So if they're not performing, then you got a little different issue going on. So they're lucky to have Gas Hero right now that's really doing well.
Courtyard is over there. That's maybe the most recent sort of new thing that I think has a lot of legs. But then, yeah, you've just got, it's just these brand platforms. Again, it's like with the Courtyard platform, Starbucks, Nike, DraftKings, that's where they should be leaning. Like, again, like they should be just going deep on brand, like custom brand platforms and marketplaces. That to me seems to be the only thing right now that like Polygon has been good at, in my opinion.
It's a slippery slope though, man, because if you're not seen as cool, like I know this is not a mid-curve take of like, hey, all this stuff, but they're losing the cool factor quick.
But that's the thing is when, okay, it's a great point, but when you are, it's like B2B versus B2C. You can't be everything to everybody. You got to choose a lane. Okay. So you're like, Polygon's never going to be as fucking cool or culturally relevant as Solana or Ethereum or these other B2C plays. They should be fucking B2B. Be that. Own a fucking lane and do that really well, and you'll be the biggest B2B fucking chain.
And their lane was gaming, right? It was gaming, and they lost that. I think they did not take advantage when they could have and should have been taking advantage, and they're losing it to Ronin in a big, big way. In fact, the only other project that's really caught my eye here is it's Ape Iron, who they're running right now because they're moving over to Ronin. So you see them here at number 7. That they're pumping because of that move. People love that.
Man,
dude,
what are they?
Be the brand infrastructure chain. Just fucking own that and do it really well, and you're gonna be fucking massive.
You know, Flow is in kind of a similar scenario. I don't even know where they end up on this chart. Top 10, maybe behind Cardano, but Flow is in a very similar point of their life cycle, in my opinion, where they're just like, okay, where do we go with this? I know the Disney thing is more in line with what GIF is talking about, with just kind of the business kind of larger brand entity chain, not so much like kind of decentralized community building, IP, and this stuff that we see on ETH. So even Solana now, Solana's done a little bit of both. They've done DeFi and they've done now PFPs, but even maybe up to 3 or 4 months ago, they didn't really have a notable PFP ecosystem out from the outside looking in. I'm sure there was all this stuff that was happening, but from the outside, it looked like it was just Mad Lads and Claynosaurs, and that was it.
Yep, that's a great point. Hey, I want to show you one more thing that really makes Polygon stand out, and maybe not in a great way. This is the index, but broken down by blockchain, and I've sorted it by the past 60 days. So the general, NFT market up 27%, Ethereum up 44% in the past 60 days, Solana up 69% in the past 60 days. Polygon, it is the lone blockchain that has lost value in the past 60 days, down 4.34%. So that just says it all right now. Value is just exiting that ecosystem still.
The Reddit avatar play as well, I think, was something they were banking on that did not go well in the end. Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still doing it, but I think they would have thought they would have picked up by now. I think we peripherally knew that Polygon wasn't doing that well, but Huda, you bringing this in, it's like very kind of shocking state of Polygon.
Yeah, well, this is the proof. This is the proof of all the work that they were doing, right? Because all we were seeing for so long was all these awesome partnerships and new platforms launching, and so it was very bullish, and you were seeing that momentum. But when the actual experience isn't good enough and people aren't actually using the products enough, and you start to see the net results aren't really there, that's where you start to say like, ooh, there might be a problem with the product, with the brand, with the positioning. There might be bigger problems here. And I think it's that they've been focusing too much on B2C, and their experience for retail customers is trash. The native applications and dApps and the native experience for just the B2C stuff of like artists, collectors, normal projects trying to launch there is not good. But it seems like the B2B infrastructure side of things, when they integrate it into a custom platform, works fine. So anyway, that's my take, man. That's it. Now you got numbers to back it up.
That's it.
And the one thing that I wanted to throw out there too, Q, I don't know if you've been watching, I'm sure you have.
I have not.
Valeria shot past 60 cents.
Yep. I'm trying so hard to get liquid to buy a bag myself. I have one land, but I really, really, really want to get a bag of Val.
I don't.
I didn't go big enough. I put a little bit into it yesterday, and I was like, maybe it'll come down. I won't go too big yet.
I don't think it's coming down, but I think it's going to go a little bonkers in a few days here.
We've had some crazy runs, man, here in like the last 2 weeks, even to the point where I'm actually texting a few folks that I know, just IRL meet space, just friendships. I'm like, hey, like you've been out of the game, and usually these people, once they see that negative 20% negative, they're out, and they don't come back until halfway through the next bull. I literally just text them. I'm like, look, this is what I'm seeing, but I almost want to like, I'm almost like contradicting myself, because that feels to me like a local top, right? Me texting my friends and family like, hey, I think it's happening.
Or hitting me up late at night to ape. I'm giving you a hard time.
Dude, those are going to rock it, and I want Gifted to hold the same energy. You see this Gifted's holding the same energy when it's up 2x in like 5 seconds that he's holding me to the fire. Valeria Games is a good one to bring up, because we do have Valeria on GM Web 3 tomorrow. So we don't have the post out yet, but you will see that coming out from...
I'm going to be there. I love those guys.
This is our first time having them on the network, so we're excited to have them.
That's so cool. Guys, give me financial advice. Should I dump my Lil Pudgy to buy a bag of Val?
No, we're not financial advisors, bro. But yes, absolutely. No. I mean, Lil Pudgy's pumped up to almost 1 ETH. They've come back down. I guess the question is like, what is there a token for Lil Pudgy's? Would that be worth not just getting into this now. If it does take off, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a tough.
This is where I'm at now. I can't make the decision.
But I will say this. I'm struggling with this question right now of I'm realizing that I need to try harder not to be aping into NFTs as much right now. Even if I see things and I'm like, I know this is going to do well, I'm trying to stay as liquid as possible. And most NFTs are a longer run up and a play. And yeah, they might 5X, but that's going to be over the course of like 6 months, maybe. You know what I mean? And if you're trying to like trade and get in on some of these like, quick swing flips on degen coins and shit, like you have to be liquid. So that to me it's more of a strategic question. Like, do you want to do the swing trade on the NFTs and wait 3 to 6 months on that? Or do you want liquidity right now to be just degenning and gambling and seeing if you can get a quick 10xer or something, So that's what I'd say is like determine your own strategy and then go from there.
Fair.
I'm just going to put up one thing because I don't want to say it. So I'm just going to put up this from Squashman about the Pudgy Penguins token. I'm not going to say this live on stream, but it looks like that's happening. Casfanac saying, so there will be live on Spaces, not the live show tomorrow. Based on where the time frame that we have them on, it's going to be the Spaces. If they want to come on, if Midorima wants to come on the NFT live, then we'd love to have them. Jack Sider was saying, who would have thought Axie and Ronin would lap Dapper Flow in a sustained fashion? Flow was another unicorn of the last cycle. So yeah, it's tough to see with the success they were having at the top with NFT Top Shot and things like that. That's a great point.
Yep.
Cats Fanatic says, watch out this weekend, HUDAH. So maybe the short-term play is to, not financial advice, get out of the Pudgy, get into Valyria, and then see what happens.
I could see little Pudgies coming back down to like a 0.6, something like that.
If they come out with a token announcement,
that's what you're fighting against, basically. And I think that would happen at their party at the Miami event, right? I think that's because I think they've hinted that there's going to be news coming out of there. So I got to see when that date is, and at least maybe hold till then.
Well, you want to sell the rumor if you're planning to sell, so you want to make sure you sell before that, probably.
Pudgy Penguins, by the way, while we're on the topic, has a candle out. So this is going.
Pudgy candles.
Oh, I
what
love
do they
that.
smell like?
This is dropping this week. It's got to smell great, right? Like wet penguin.
Like penguin. Who doesn't
wet
smell
penguin
that?
and mackerel. Like when you walk into an aquarium.
Oh man,
is that officially Pudgy
Dude,
Penguin, or is that like a holder made thing?
Oh no, it is. This is
that's official.
This is the chief creative officer over at Pudgy. So are we buying the Pudgy? See, I can't get a candle though. Like candles, I guess if you never use it, it's a collectible. But
no, these are consumables. They're getting into the consumable game. There's nothing wrong with that.
You know what's funny though?
They're gonna be doing everything.
Dude, everything. That's their game plan. Is just do everything. You know those little igloos that had those little collectible Pudgies in them? There was those like $5 blind boxes. My wife saved the little containers they came in, and they're like perfect holiday decorations. So we got little igloos all over the house next to all the Christmas themed stuff. It was actually kind of cool.
Dude, just Pudgy's invasion across like multiple different verticals here. All right.
Neon district bags. Holy shit. So sorry, bro.
Yeah, I remember we covered that, but I never really spent any time in it. Sorry to hear if that one didn't go well. I haven't heard anything about it other than you just bringing it up here. Just in case, he also saying, I got a serious question for once. Have you been playing Gotchi Guardians or any of their mini games? No, I haven't been. I just have my Gotchis in the vault. So I guess somebody's petting them for me, whatever that does. And I see
a lot of statements.
I see all the cool things that like they're developing, but I haven't really invested the time and energy to explore it. And part of it's because it's on fucking Polygon, man.
All right. Real quick, I got a question from Marty McFly that's going to maybe be a talking point here as we round out the episode. Shrapnel here has done extremely well. It's at 40 cents as well, so it's kind of around some of these targets. Or sorry, some of these all-time high numbers. It's about 6%
Marty
off.
asking, what's the Shrap price target here?
Yeah,
Q?
that's what I wanted to talk about. Although we don't give out financial advice, we brought this up earlier on the episode. So Marty, shout out to you for hopping on the Shrapnel Operators train. This play was primarily looking at relative collections, right? It was parallel avatars, it's My Pet Hooligans, it's a couple other of these gaming tokens that have 0.5 ETH and higher, even in similar supply ranges. They're 0.5 to over an ETH in some examples. Like My Pet Hooligans at 1.08 ETH or something like that for a floor. So I'm looking at Shrapnel saying this probably continues to run. And hopefully you guys caught that. I don't have, man, Shrapnel price targets. Usually when something gets that I don't have a ton of conviction on, if it gets up 2x, if it gets up 3x, I'm getting back my initial investment. Shrapnel, I have a really strong conviction on what they're doing, especially Mark Long, the CEO. I can bring up that interview for you guys.
Market cap.
Sheesh.
So to me, like what I would be doing is looking at similar products and similar market caps of like other more established things, and then trying to get a sense of like how I think this would compare based on the category and the type of game. And so like I'd be looking at Echelon Prime's market cap and saying like, okay, well, this is what that game did. This is a shooter that's just picking up. Can it do 50% of that? Conservatively, could it be 50% of the market cap of Echelon Prime, and then base my moves on that? So I mean, the market cap's still very low, right? Isn't it like 100 mil? Like what is it?
Well, so look, you have to kind of preface that a lot of people like trading off FTV, and I'm really not a big FTV guy. Like I'm looking at circulating supply. I think degens look a lot at just circulating market cap. So it's tough to get a handle on Shrapnel because CoinGecko doesn't cover it. I might be able to go to CoinMarketCap. I haven't checked the circulating supply.
95 mil. So it's under $100 million market cap right now, which for a game,
we
like
caught it around 25.
Illuvium's sitting at fucking like 600 mil or 500, $500 million market cap or something like that.
And that unlock happens in April. For those of you guys that are following, there's a team and investor unlock that's happening in April. We originally thought it was like later in the year when we were covering it. So
yeah, so Prime is 200 and almost 220 million market cap right now.
Is that all they are?
So it's not even, it's not, yeah, that's what it's at right now. So 217 million is what it looks like on Prime. And so, yeah, this is not even half the market cap of Prime right now. And the game hasn't even launched. And shooters, the thing that I'm looking at categorically with this, we know that gaming is a hot meta and is probably going to continue to grow for a little while. But shooters are a very specific type of product and like culture that I think aligns very well with like crypto bros and like the types of people that want to play it. And so there's something about that to me that if you have a really fun, good fucking shooter, the possibility of that catching a lot of momentum and getting a lot of energy around it can be huge. Some of the biggest games in the world are like Call of Duty and things like that, right? And those have very, very avid fan bases.
I'm interested in the gambling regulations of this, because before I say this, I just want to throw that out there, and I'm not the head of a gaming product that is releasing a token as well, but just even a PvP shooter GIF that allows you to be like, hey, let's jump in and I bet you one Shrap that I win this fight.
That's kind of what this is. Think about what this extraction shooter is. You choose a loadout to go into a particular game, and you're risking what you take into that game. That is gambling. I mean,
you're right.
Like it's basically like, here's the stakes that I'm wagering on this game.
Dude, your gachi is sitting in a vault somewhere. Wow. It's completely neglected. Probably like he's probably raised by wolves by now.
So great. Casper the Gotchi telling me so they're basically gone forever is what you're telling me. I lost my Gotchis.
All right, just in case he's been all over the map today in a really positive way, don't bring in wax. Don't do this to me. My mind is already just in so many different chains. You're not telling me that Wax is gonna make a comeback. Who did you have any takes on Wax?
Oh, dude, I love Wax, and yeah, I could see them having a comeback at some point. Not because anything I actually know of. Like, I don't have anything factual here, but I know that team's still working and grinding, and they got one of those elite teams. It would never shock me to see them get some kind of integration, some kind of brand that puts them right back at the forefront. Wouldn't shock me at all.
Jesus.
Yeah.
If Wax is back, we're back.
Yes. Yeah, very much that.
Okay, I'm gonna fly through these next pieces, and then HUDAH. This might be a potential huge announcement based on the Ordinals FUD that we've seen over the last 24 hours. Yep. Kieran laid out some 7-day statistics for the Illuvium arena that launched last week. 126,000 matches played, peak concurrent players 800, Twitch ranking 500, average queue time was less than 20 seconds, hours played about 20,000. So for a first week of that game, having 800 players concurrent, not bad. It doesn't that doesn't really do much on the Web 2 side. I don't want to sound like a shill here. That's not like great numbers when it comes to like a Steam game launch. So just keeping it real.
Yeah, I'll play devil's advocate in general. Just say there are so many games coming out that I felt this today when I tried that new Ronin game, Ape Iron or whatever. I just felt like it's cool, but there's so many games I'm going to touch. I'm going to try this one to see if I like it, and this one, and there's so many that I don't know that they can all make it as excellent as they're all going to be.
Great point there. Kieran responding to a poster there saying, gamers are not all looking for incentives right now. Nor should I think that they need any incentives to play the game. Like, that's a losing battle. We've seen that already. Oniforce here having their Fortnite event. This Typeform is closed now, so this link does not link out to an actual sign up. But this is picking up steam, man. You see a lot of it. You saw some mech announcements from Ion Complex as well. Here on the Oniforce side. So the frames are actual mechs. I had no idea based on the way that they're displayed in GIFs or GIFs.
Yeah. Yeah, you did not know the scale.
Yeah, they're like...
That's pretty fucking cool.
And then lastly, guys, before we get to this Ordinals news, Claynosaurs hitting all-time highs here on the Solana blockchain, as well as Mad Lads. This is being covered heavily by even folks that are covering the Ethereum ecosystem. So any thoughts here?
I love it. It's not unexpected at this point. I think we're going to see a Solana blow up. And we said this the other day. I think if and when mint season arrives, I think it's going to be crazy over on the Solana blockchain for new mints. I'll be looking over there myself to try to get into mints, probably more than on Ethereum. Also,
okay.
Bodagos. I really think Bodagos are cheap compared to what we're seeing other projects do.
Agreed. I picked up another one. I got 2 Bodagos now, and
all right,
got no K-Bear. I mean, look, I don't want to sit here and be the like I told you so guy, but I've been saying Mad Lads are probably going to go fucking bonkers for the last couple weeks.
All right, Lucky Trader here. This announcement. Shout out to Tyler. Did it?
Oh yeah.
What's going on here?
Check that out, huh? So Sotheby's selling ordinals for the first time ever, and they're not cheap ordinals either, man. Do you see that? 20 to 30 grand.
Did they not hear the ordinals are dead?
They didn't hear it, I guess.
Oh fuck!
Someone's got to let these guys know. We got to help them.
Wow. Is it so? This is new. Sotheby's Metaverse. We're thrilled to present our Naga. So, no, is this announcement? No, yeah, 2 p.m. So this has been a crazy 24 hours for Ordinals. You go from a head Bitcoin dev saying that they're dead to Sotheby's saying we're doing our first Ordinals auction.
Yeah, absolute roller coaster. Absolute roller freaking coaster. Yeah, it's a big old deal, man. I mean, I don't know that Sotheby's legitimizes things like it used to. It used to be early on in NFTs, something was sold there. You're like, oh shit, guys, we made it. Like, dude, can you believe this? It's not quite the same now, but that's still a pretty big deal.
I think it's it is the first cross-chain one. Has there been any other chains that have been done? Maybe like it's probably going to be some chain like Tezos has.
That was it. I think they might have done a Tezos thing at one point. I don't remember if it was them or Christie's, but never Bitcoin, and that's huge. That is big.
I get.
Marty never missing an opportunity to shit on Yuga.
No, I think
Saying only dead ordinals 12-fold.
Hey man,
Who
they're
do I-
giving away a 12-fold NFT, just so you know. For the very last puzzle they're doing in this 12-fold series, you don't get 0.12 Bitcoin, you get a 12-fold NFT.
See,
So just
the
a heads
problem is the people that solve these things are like fucking the what's his name that created the computer, the first mechanized computer.
I don't know, but
There's a
get what you
game.
mean.
Steve Wozniak?
No. The guy who solved Enigma. Nobody knows who solved Enigma. There's a whole movie about it. Something game.
Alan Turing. There you go.
Alan Turing.
Turing.
Yeah,
Turing
you basically
test
have to
guy.
be like
Yeah.
a cryptographer to be the first one to solve this. So yeah, cool. Congrats to you. All right. I think that's it, man. I'm gonna be looking at the Telegram bots we got into, GIF. Now that we dealt with that short-term FUD.
Yeah, let's hope they turn around, man. We're all cryptographers. Q. Come on, that's part of our expertise. We're all experts, right? Cryptography experts.
If you say so, GIF.
We're rounding out the episode here. We're gonna say goodbye here in like the next minute or two. Something's happening with Rumble Kong League, by the way. This is a project that's been around for a long time, up 140% in the last one day. I'm sure this is like in the last it's like in the last hour or two. So Rumble Kong League is popping off, and yeah. See if there's some other stuff that we'll be covering. We do have Illyria Games on GM Web3 tomorrow. We will be here on the channel still today. We have a daily rehash to get out here on YouTube as well as X, where we're kind of packing in the top 10 headlines and stories into a 10-minute little short for you guys. So hopefully you guys have been supporting that. Please support this show if you can't make it to any of our daily rehashes. We love you guys on NFT Live all the time, filling up the chat box, as well as on X and wherever you're watching. Appreciate it. Guys, any last thoughts before we go around the try box here?
No, just looking forward to Valeria tomorrow. I feel like I know everything about the project, but I love hearing the team talk about it, because when you hear them talk, you understand how much they get it. Like, they get Web3, but they also get gamers, and that's the coolest part of their story. So I'm excited for you guys to hear from them tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome to have them on the show. And I'll just share this real quick. That is that over 900 coffins have been generated. They are still minting. If you want to go, for just $9 plus gas, you can go play around with the coffins generator using the Nifty Kit Generator app, and would love for you to do that before it closes on the 13th. So I'll drop that link in the chat. Shout out everybody who is minting, and love to see it, and just much love and appreciation. And that's it, man. Coffins are minting, closing December 13th. We'll be back with Valeria tomorrow.
OVO,
our vibe,
our tribe. GM to everybody, GN, whatever you say, except for Jamie Dimon. He can go off and do whatever he wants to do. Peace.